Welcome. My guest today is Ignacio Correa Ortiz. He's made his decision to actively participate in the healthy evolution of cities for 30 years ago. He believes that the future of humanity and ecology depends largely on the sustainability of the urban environment. Ignacio is a planner, architect, and urban designer with the Regional Transportation District in Denver. He's a graduate of the University of Wisconsin in Milwaukee and the Universidad Santo Tomas in Colombia. He serves as a board member in the Denver Planning Board, the Denver Architecture Foundation, and is the chair of the Regional Urban Design Knowledge Community with AIA Colorado in Denver. Ignacio, welcome.
Thank you very much.
A few questions, sir. To start, lately you've been addressing issues around Denver Civic Center. Why is the Civic Center so important to you?
It is not only important to me, it is important to the entire community in Denver. Civic Center is really the heart of the region and the city. And my office is just a block away from it, so I get to experience it on a daily basis. The Civic Center, the importance that the Civic Center has for me has to do more with what are the aspirations of the city and what are my interpretation, what the city can achieve with the Civic Center. It's a work that has been in process for over 100 years, and I think that this is a good time now that Denver is seeing a lot of development happening, that we can intervene in a positive way and create a very good positive image for the city and for its community.
Great. It seems that one of the reverberations of the September 2011 Occupy Denver is the increased use of Civic Center Park by lingering crowds collie-wobbling around. Is there anything you can do about it?
There's a lot we can do about it. As designers, and this is part of the work that I am doing as an architect and an urban designer, is that design can only influence the change in the urban space to a certain extent. It is much more of a social problem. I like to call them the urban drifters and the urban nomads is really the term that I like for that, because there is a certain culture of nomadic lifestyle that is applied to this. So what has happened is that this park was created during a time in history in which we were creating beautiful parks within a movement within architecture and urban design called the City Beautiful. And the City Beautiful movement was criticized by Jane Jacobs about, sorry, I for a second almost thought I forgot Jane Jacobs' last name, because she was one of the pioneers in the intervention of advocating for the urban environment. So she criticized the City Beautiful movement by saying you're creating spaces that are not in touch with society, and that is what we have seen. In September of 2011, what happened was that there was a great discomfort between the poor and the rich, and it started really as the Occupy Wall Street movement that happened here. And there has been a lingering effect from that. So when there is an interstice of the city that is left, somebody will fill it, and in this case is this urban nomad. So what is the solution? It's not only urban design, but it's also a social problem that I have a few ideas about that. Basically engaging those people to make them owners of the space.
Interesting. Thank you. You're also hosting a design charrette, a design exercise, at AIA Colorado on May 9th. What do you expect to accomplish with this?
A little bit of what I was trying to elucidate. Really not to change the culture of the urban nomads, but to go to the aspect that most people are concerned about the Civic Center, which is the access to it. Right now, in order for you to get to any of the parks that conform the Civic Center, you have to go through sometimes 6 lanes of traffic. So what we're trying to do here is to create a more pedestrian accessible space, a more pedestrian friendly space, and at the same time try to create some ways to mitigate the negative impact of the urban nomadic culture in it.
Okay. The City and County of Denver has announced that it's working on a bus rapid transit system for East Colfax. How may this project relate to other work that RTD is doing in the corridor and aspirations that you have for Civic Center?
Yeah. The city is in fact doing a BRT, bus rapid transit project that terminates at Civic Center on the corner of Colfax and Broadway. And the way we have seen the design so far is a rearrangement of the lanes, but really not solving the pedestrian problem. What we hope to do with this is to help the city in their attempt to improve the space to make it more pedestrian. So maybe there is a different configuration of how the bus rapid transit meets this part of downtown and how it relates to the RTD routes.
Great. I think we have time for one more question. Left over from the Civic Center redevelopment is a tiny parcel of land on the corners of Lincoln, Broadway, and Colfax. What do you think are the most important design considerations for redeveloping that space into something perhaps of a different use than what it is right now?
Well, I think the most important part is that if it is part of the Civic Center, it has to have a civic component. And what does a civic building makes it civic? It's like, well, it's not only the access, but also the way it sits in the place and the function of the urban environment.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mr. Correa Ortiz.
Thank you.
We'll be right back after these commercials.